Hey friends, it's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and in this week's weekly kitchen work video, I thought I'd do something a little different. The food preservation and preparation projects that I had planned were kind of redundant. I had already filmed a lot of those projects in the last couple months for you. So I thought instead I would share with you some of the other types of kitchen work we were doing. We have some homemade toiletries that I had planned on making to kind of prepare for the coming weeks and months, and thought that I would take you along for that. So a lot of these items, these toiletries, these skincare items that we make are made using items that we either grow here or forage here. And I'm planning this week to make liquid Castile hand soap. And so we make our own bar soap here, and I'll show you that in another video sometime. But if you don't make your own soap, you could make this liquid hand soap using store-bought Castile bars of soap. So there's that. I'm also going to make a homemade baby wipe solution, and I'll show you that process, as well as a homemade tallow balm that we use as a moisturizer during winter. So if any of that interests you, why don't you stick around and we'll show you how we do those things. Today's project, we're taking a little break from kitchen cooking work, and we ran out of hand soap in the bathroom, so we need to make some liquid hand soap. So I thought I'd show you how we do that. So what we use is just a hand crank cheese grater, and this is one we solely use for this purpose. We do not use this grater for anything other than soaping. And we take little bits, little pieces of our homemade Castile soap, which is basically just soap that we've made with olive oil and lye, and that's about it. And we take the equivalent of one, standard size bar of soap, and we grate it down into our pot. And then once it's all grated, we will add 1 gallon of water and bring it to a boil. And once we get that done, we'll show you what that looks like. Smells good, doesn't it? What does it smell like?
Soap.
Soap, yeah. So it smells very clean. All right, so Adam and I are right-handed, and all of our sons so far are right-handed, but my 2 daughters are left-handed, right? And they probably get it from my dad, who is also, he's kind of ambidextrous. He had to teach himself how to use his right hand when he was little, because when he was younger, the world wasn't as accommodating to left-handed people. So his teacher would actually hit his hand and force him to write with his right hand, and so he kind of, figured it out, I guess. And I guess my girls, I never realized how hard life can be being left-handed when most tools like this grater here are created for right-handed people. But my girls are pretty good at figuring it out and doing the best with the tools that we have. I'm trying to, as time goes on, as I buy tools, buy things that are, not for right-handed people and that both people can use easily. But a lot of this stuff, I've had this for years before the girls were helping me, and so they just figure it out. Do you like being left-handed? Do you feel special? Because not very many people are left-handed, right?
A lot more people are right-handed.
Yeah. But you and your sister are both left-handed. So strange. It always makes us think, if we ever had another daughter, would she also be left-handed, do you think? All right, so the equivalent of that 1 bar of soap is all grated up. She did a great job. And so now we need to add our water to it. So we're going to add 1 gallon of water. I'm using a quart jar. So how many quarts go in a gallon, sis?
4.
4. So we're going to go ahead and dump this in here, and then we'll do it 3 more times.
It looks weird.
It's getting all...
Looks like wet snow.
Ooh, it does look like wet snow. All right, let's get the rest of it. All right, she's just going to give that a stir, and then what we're going to do is put this on the stove and bring it to a boil. And then as soon as it starts to boil, we're going to shut the heat off, and then this will begin to thicken as it cools. So this is the last of our last batch that we made. As you can see, after that soap boils and then cools, it's going to get thick. It's really gelatinous. If I put my fingers in here, hold on. See, it's kind of slimy and thick. And that's what we want. That's the texture we want for our liquid soap. If it were too watery, when you're pumping it out, it would just drip out like water. So we want something thick that we can actually set up and wash our hands with, right? So this is the soap. We're gonna add some fragrance to it. And my helper here chose lavender this time. So she's just gonna turn it over and add as much as she wants there. Go ahead, honey. You could add, we sometimes do peppermint, we've done rosemary, all sorts of different kinds. So that's probably good, sis. So just enough until you get it to the scent that you want it. It's all a preference thing. Eucalyptus makes a great soap. We've done that before. It's whatever smells you like. Okay, and then we've just got a funnel, and we're going to go ahead and put this into our soap dispenser. So now when this comes out, it's going to come out really thick. So you have to do it really slowly. Hold this end, sis. And you're just going to pour it very slowly into the funnel there. You're fine. It's not going to hurt anything. It's soap. If it spills, it will... There you go. See that? How it kind of... It's thick, so it kind of slurps down into there.
It's a chunk. You just touch the chunk.
We're just filling up our dispenser there with all of that. That's fine, the chunks won't hurt. All right, very good. Now we're gonna go ahead and put our dispenser together. You smelling it? Does it smell good? Good. Go ahead and put that back on there. Twist it on. And then we're ready to go wash our hands. So as I said, we'll just bring this to, as soon as it starts boiling, I'll shut the heat off and just kind of set it aside, and it will thicken to exactly what was in that jar within the next probably 12 hours. And then I'll transfer it from the pot into quart-size canning jars to store. And then as I need to refill my soap dispensers, it'll be all ready to go. So after this solidifies, I'll show you what this looks like tomorrow. Alright guys, it's the next day, and I wanted to show you how this solidifies. So you can see how as that soap kind of sat overnight, it really set and is very thick, and that is exactly what we want. So this is going to be our liquid soap. So all I'm going to do now is take this and put it in the jars over here. I'm going to go ahead and fill these up and use 2 hands to do it, but we're just going to store it in regular canning jars here. So let me get these filled up, and then the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take some of this soap and I'm going to use it to make some baby wipes. Let me show you how I make my baby wipes. And there you go. That's how much soap we got out of that batch. It's about, what, a little 3.5 quarts maybe. So that is wonderful. This will last us quite a while. So as you can see, 1 little bar of soap and some water made us enough soap to last us, you know, a couple weeks with the kids in this house. So very affordable way to do that. So now what I'm going to do is work on making some baby wipes. So we do cloth diaper sometimes. I haven't been lately because I was gifted some diapers and I'm using those. But normally we cloth diaper. I've been doing it since Gabe was a baby. And my daughter Gracie makes me these wipes. These are just flannel, 2 layers of flannel, and she serges around the edges, just easy to do. We also use old baby washcloths and things like that. But so we use cloth wipes when we're cloth diapering, and we make our own wipe solution. So the ingredients in my wipes, 2 cups of boiling water. I do 1 tablespoon of the Castile liquid Castile soap that I make. I do 1 tablespoon of yarrow infused witch hazel, which I'll explain why I do all this here in a minute. I take some aloe from my aloe plants, and then I usually use some tea tree oil and lavender oil. So let me show you how I mix this up, and I'll explain why I use these different ingredients. So this is witch hazel. You can get it at the store. It's an astringent for your skin. It relieves and soothes minor skin irritations, which is why it is great for baby wipes. So we just buy this at the store and we infuse it with yarrow that grows wild in our yard. If you don't know what yarrow is, it is a wild herb. Has beautiful flowers and these feathery fern-like, you can kind of see here, they kind of look like feathers, leaves. and it's abundant on our property, and it is just a miracle worker. It is wonderful for wound care and skin care, and it also has antimicrobial properties, so it's just the perfect thing to add to this witch hazel to make our baby wipe solution that much better. So that's why I do this. So to infuse the witch hazel, I just take the dried leaves and flowers, and I fill the jar with the dried leaves and flowers, and then just top it off and cover it with the witch hazel and set it in the windowsill for a couple months. This has been sitting probably since the beginning of August. And so other uses for this, if you have vein issues during pregnancy, I will use this. I'll put a little bit of this on a cotton ball, and that will help relieve some of that vein discomfort. It's also wonderful for certain complications when you're postpartum, if you know, as a postpartum mother. So same idea, you can just use this on a cotton ball, and that will help relieve some of that discomfort. So what I'm going to do is just kind of strain out this way a tablespoon of this, and I'm going to add it to my water. And then the next step, as I mentioned, was taking I spilled a little bit, a tablespoon of the soap and also adding that to my water here. So the next thing I did was kind of sliced my aloe here in half, and then I'm just going to take a spoon here and I'm going to scoop the guts out of this, and I'm going to also add that to my water. So sometimes you're going to want to chop the aloe goo up to help it dissolve in the water a little better. Okay, so the aloe, obviously it's great for burns and other wounds. It's just really soothing on the skin. That's why it's a great addition to our baby wipe solution. So you can kind of see the little chunks in there, and this is boiling hot water, so that will kind of melt and dissolve in there a little bit. I'm going to scoop out the plant bits that are stuck. Alright, and then finally we're going to add just a few drops each of tea tree oil and lavender. There was lavender already in our Castile soap, so we don't need a lot of it. And tea tree oil is meant to be kind of like antifungal. It's good for kind of yeast rashes that you have on your baby's bottom, and lavender is just really soothing for the skin and gives it a nice smell. So we're going to put those in here. Now that our wipe solution is made up, there's a couple ways that we can do this. So one way I like to use it is I fold my wipes in half and I just put them in a little container like this. This is just like a leftover lunch meat container that I use for storage. And you can just take the solution and literally pour it over the top of this, seal up your container, and set that on your changing table, and then those wipes will be wet and ready for you. The downside of doing it this way is that just like with regular baby wipes, the reason why regular baby wipes have additional chemicals and things added to them is to prevent this wet fabric from molding as it sits in storage. So because there aren't added chemicals in our wipe solution, this could be prone to molding. So I would only recommend doing this if you plan on using the wipes up within a couple of days, maybe 3 days at the most. So that's one way to do it. And this is great for traveling. You can put a lid on this and you've got them all wet and ready to go. Another way you can do it is get some kind of bottle. This is what I use for traveling. So I can fill this up with the solution, and then when I'm on the go, I can just squirt a little bit of this on a wipe at a time and then use that. You can also use a spray bottle. So just pour this directly into a large spray bottle, and then you can spray each wipe individually as you go to use them. So many different ways you can use it. If you are going to use a container like this, I suggest sticking it in a place that gets light. You wouldn't want to make these wipes and put them in a dark diaper bag or put them in some kind of cupboard in your bathroom or something, because once again, dark, wet, you're just asking for mold and other kinds of issues. So keep it in a sunny, windy windowsill or a place like that. Use them up, 3 days or so, and you'll be good to go. All right, so we are all lidded up, and we're going to go move these to storage. But I just want to remind you that this solution right here, it isn't just good for baby wipes. This would also be wonderful for any kind of wipes that you wanted to use. If you wanted to make some hand wipes for adults or older children to have in the car to kind of use as something to clean up after meals when you're kind of on the go, this just makes a lovely solution that's good for your skin. All right, on to the next project. All right, guys, it is Friday. Woohoo! Are you guys excited about the weekend? Yeah, we've got a fun weekend planned, so we're excited about that. But today we have a quick project that we wanted to do. Winter is approaching and dry skin is going to be a problem here in the house, so we are going to make some tallow balm today. Tallow balm is what we will use for lotion. It's a really healthy and sustainable lotion to use, and we can make it from ingredients we already have on hand here. So my little guy here is being kind of fussy. Let's see if he's going to let me do this. What do you think? Okay, so Miss Elizabeth is going to help me here. The only ingredients we need are tallow, which we put in the oven to melt, because you don't want that to be solid. You won't be able to get it out of the jar if it's solid. So we have melted tallow here, and that is tallow that we rendered a couple weeks ago. In the description, I'll link the video that shows how we rendered our tallow, and that came from our beef heifer that we had processed last month. So tallow, we need some olive oil, and here we are using some dandelion infused olive oil. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm blocking out your face with that. Dandelion infused olive oil. Dandelion is good for skin. We infuse a lot of oil with that for soap making and things like that. So we just had some extra on hand to use up before it goes rancid, so I thought I would use that for our tallow balm. But you could use any kind of regular olive oil, almond oil, avocado oil, whatever liquid oil like this that you have on hand. And then our final ingredient is going to be some essential oils. This is not necessary or essential, haha, but we like to add it. We are going to be adding, this is an anti-aging blend that I have that needs to be used up. It contains frankincense, sandalwood, lavender, rose flower, lots of different oils that are supposed to be good for aging and skin. So obviously that's a wonderful thing to add to a lotion that you're going to be using on your skin. All right, are you ready, sis? So we are going to start by adding 1 cup of the melted tallow, and we're going to put it in our mixing bowl that attaches to our KitchenAid mixer. So hold on, let me move the camera back and we'll show you how we're going to do this. Our tallow here is still hot, so I am just going to do this for Elizabeth. We're going to pour 1 cup into our measuring cup here. Go ahead, sis. And then she's going to put that in our mixing bowl. And actually, we are going to double this recipe today, so I'm going to do another cup. All right. All right, go ahead, sis. For every 4 parts of the tallow you put in, you're going to put 1 part of olive oil. So since we did 2 cups of tallow, we are going to do 1/2 cup of the olive oil here. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that into our measuring cup. And then she's going to go ahead and put that in. All right.
Looks like wet honey.
It looks like what? Wet, like honey? Yeah, it does. Okay, and then next we're just going to put a little bit of this. Just as much as you want. This will give it some fragrance, and like I said, is good for the skin. Out of this bottle here, I had maybe 1/4 of it left, and I just poured the whole thing here into our balm because I needed to use this up before it goes bad. All right, so let me show you the next step. So we've added the whisk attachment here to our mixer, and I'm going to go ahead and set this down. And we're going to let our tallow mixture harden. You know, tallow is one of the fats that when you heat it up, it's liquid, and when it's room temperature, it will solidify. So we're going to go do school right now and let this solidify for a little bit. And then when we come back in, we're going to go ahead and turn the mixer on, and this will whip up into a beautiful, creamy lotion for us. How's that sound? You ready to go do school?
the people went out.
The house was kind of warm, so by the time we were done with school, it wasn't quite set yet, so we just put it in the fridge for maybe 10 minutes, and it is ready to go. So what we're going to do now is hook this up to the KitchenAid and just whip it around. Easy as that. And so it has been, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes, and we've already got it quite creamy. Sorry, the camera is not focusing. There we go. So see, it's nice and creamy. We're going to leave it go just a little bit longer, see if it'll thicken up a little more. All right, so essentially what we've made here, it's sort of like cake frosting. When you take a fat like this and you whip it up, it starts to emulsify. If you added sugar to this, you would get frosting, but obviously this is just the oils and the tallow. So we just get a nice, thick, creamy texture here. So Gracie's going to put this in some little jars for me. Kind of reminds me of marshmallow fluff. I kind of want to make hot cocoa and marshmallow fluff now after seeing this. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have some later. It's starting to get chilly. It's October 1st. Fall is here in Northwest Ohio. So pretty soon we'll have the wood stove burning and we'll be eating cocoa every day with marshmallow fluff. That's what this reminds me of. Okay, so we got about 3 half pints. We didn't have any half pint jars in the house clean, so we just went ahead and filled about half of a pint jar here. But I put it in little jars so that the girls could take one up to their room, and I can put one in my bathroom, and then we'll set this other one up in the main bathroom for the boys to use. And it turned out to be a really beautiful texture. It's just like a lotion. If you look at that, so creamy and rich, and will just be wonderful for our skin. So I'm going to let Gracie try this here in a second and let you know what she thinks. So how's that feel on your skin?
Feels nice.
You feel nice? So when our hands are all dry from doing dishes this winter, that'll be lovely to put over that dry skin and it'll heal it. It's a really healthy lotion. It doesn't have any chemicals or added unnecessary ingredients. It's just the healthy fat. It's healing and wonderful for your skin. So what do you think, sis?
Good.
Good. All right, so Tallow Balm, it will make a wonderful moisturizer for your hands and legs and any dry skin. It's also a great face moisturizer, but I would warn you that this is not the type of moisturizer that I would use in the morning when you're getting ready. It is very thick and greasy, and so this is the kind of moisturizer that you would want to use at the end of the day, or if you're just going to be, you know, around the house for a while, because it will leave your face looking kind of greasy, but it's good for your skin. Isn't going to cause breakouts and things like that, like some of the other, you know, chemical moisturizers can do. So hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will try my best to answer them. All right, friends, and that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this little break from the food preservation and cooking, and this peek into some other ways that we do some kitchen work to take care of our bodies that, you know, isn't food related, that has more to do with healthy skincare. So next week we'll jump right back into doing some food preservation and showing you how we use in recipes some of the food that we've already preserved. But in the meantime, I hope you have a blessed week, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye, friends.